Welcome to my presentation on why I think Sneasler is destroying the Pokémon Champions metagame right now. And first, I think we need to talk about why this is really even a conversation. Because there's a totally different category of Pokemon that Sneasler falls into. Nobody's asking whether Sneasler is good or how to use Sneasler. People are asking how to beat it. And that's totally different, like in the strength of a Pokemon, of just everybody knows that it's OP and we need to know how to beat it. It already just goes to show that it's starting to like warp the prep and team building around how to have Sneasler answers. Sneasler has such a solid ability. Even like if you're not running Unburden, Poison Touch is even really good. But even like access to Fake Out, Close Combat, Dire Claw, it has a solve set, and that solve set is universally amazing into so many things. Okay, so let's get specific. Sneasler has a 130 base attack and 120 base speed. Those are already scary numbers, but the problem isn't the base stats. It's the combination of item and ability and the sequence it creates. Turn 1, Sneasler takes an Intimidate drop, or it drops its own attack from close combat. White Herb activates, restoring the stat. Unburden makes it so that it has double speed, so now you're dealing with an effective 240 base speed stat. And here's the part I think people underestimate. The punish window after this is really tiny. If Sneasler switches out, the Unburden resets, but staying in with Sneasler is just like, it can be devastating. So you're stuck. You can't really switch into it safely, and you can't let it stay in, and you're kind of in this awkward position where you can't really beat the Sneasler without taking multiple turns to try to nerf it in some way. And then there's the coverage. It just has so much pressure with one slot. Close combat hits steel, dark, rock, and normal. Basically every bulky piece that slower and more defensive teams rely on, like Kingambit, Tyranitar, even speaking from personal experience, Pokemon like Mega Blastoise that are very bulky take over 50% from a close combat. And so even on top of close combat, you have Dire Claw that was nerfed, thankfully and rightfully so, but it still adds a 30% chance that you get a status of either poison, paralysis, or sleep on every single hit. Fake Out gives you turn control, steals positioning, lets you have momentum, and Protect lets it stay safe while partners do dirty work for it. Sneasler does not need every matchup to be perfect. It only needs one turn where you're forced to respect everything that it does, and that's what makes it so exhausting to build against. Now, I talked a little bit about how Dire Claw was nerfed, but it didn't really solve the issue of Sneasler. Game Freak reduced Dire Claw's status chance from 50% down to 30%. So you have like a 12.5% chance to be put to sleep, paralyzed, or poisoned. And while that does reduce some of the variance, I just don't think it was enough to make Sneasler not super oppressive. Because the nerf targeted the lottery, but it didn't remove the lottery from the match. Before the nerf, it had scary damage plus high status pressure. After the nerf, you have scary damage still plus a 30% chance high impact variance. Sleep can still flip games immediately. Poison still creates chip and timers that force your decisions for the rest of the match. And paralysis can steal turns by getting fully parried or lowering your speed on Pokemon that were either scarfed or meant to be your fast attackers. And even if Dire Claw doesn't roll anything, it's still a stab damage from a 130 base attack stat. And the nerf, just like I said, it lowered the casino odds, but it did not remove the casino from the match. So how are people beating it? To be fair, counterplay does exist for Sneasler, albeit very minimally. Farigiraf can block the Fake Out pressure from Sneasler and threaten psychic damage, which will OHKO it. Aerodactyl, which has been my personal favorite way to deal with it because Aerodactyl is just so good right now, is with dual wing beat. So you also can get past the sash variants of Sneasler. Aegis Slash, if you're looking for a just straight up counter to Sneasler, you're going to want to go with Aegis Slash. It's immune to both Dire Claw and close combat, and Sneasler will never be carrying dark type coverage. And then there's something I also covered in my Serena presentation, but Choice Scarf Serena with a Zen Headbutt can actually outspeed an Oko Sneasler as well. So there are ways you can beat it, Pokemon that do threaten it. It's just that Sneasler is so good at what it does that even having these on your team doesn't mean that Sneasler won't just run wild. It's so hard. Like, your practical plan is like just somehow deny the first turn fake out, break the sash, or make it use its Wide Herb so that you can try to force it out, or pivot in another Intimidate to try to get rid of it before it just snowballs with Unburden. It's so difficult to do though. Like, you can't just beat it in one turn most of the time. So what's the actual fix? And I think the goal here isn't deleting Sneasler from the format, although I do not think that it should have been included in the first place. It's just so much stronger than the power level of this format. But the goal should be making Sneasler answerable without having to like wrap every team around it. Wide Herb should not make Intimidate feel like a liability. There's so many games where I'm like, I'll switch in and Intimidate, but then it's like, but then it'll just activate Wide Herb and then it could close combat and then I'm just stuck. Or if I use Wide Orb, then it'll be faster than me if I Tailwind. And so then it just becomes like, man, I don't even think I can Intimidate. And I feel like that's just bad game design. The Unburden activation could maybe be harder or less explosive in Champions specifically. I think if you take away Unburden, Sneasler becomes a lot easier to deal with, but we would be dealing with a lot more Poison Touch. So pick your poison. I personally would rather be dealing with Poison Touch than Unburden. And Dire Claw can stay at 30%. I think that that's fair, but the sleep status feels the most game breaking. So maybe if we want an extra nerf to Sneasler, we take away the possibility to put you to sleep and it can just poison or paralyze. So that's probably worth looking at separately. But if none of this changes, if Sneasler continues to just dominate how it is, the metagame is just going to keep centralizing around it. And even with the answers we have in the metagame, it just doesn't seem like it's enough. So my closing take is Sneasler is S tier, no doubt. It beats speed control. There are so many Pokemon where even under Tailwind, after Unburden, Sneasler is going to be faster. I personally really like to use Tailwind with bulkier, more mid-speed tier Pokemon. And it makes that kind of team archetype really hard to run because Sneasler will just outspeed you no matter what. It makes Intimidate feel like a liability because you can't switch in and Intimidate it while it has Wide Herb. And it makes you play another turn or two of switching in and out just to get one drop on it. And while you're doing that, it's just running wild with close combat and Dire Claw. It pressures so many switch-ins, it adds fake out and status variants, and it does all that while hitting insanely hard. And so that's why people are complaining, and rightfully so. And so let me know what you guys think about this. How do you think Sneasler should be handled? Should it be nerfed even more? Or what are you using specifically to beat it that makes you not afraid to see Sneasler in the team preview? I'm sure myself and a lot of us that are watching this video would love to see that, to give us ideas of how we can improve our teams and our matchups. Thank you for watching my presentation, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.